Hey guys, it's me, Vira. I'm back on YouTube hopefully for a while because school's starting, and believe it or not, that means my schedule has slowed down. But it might be the middle of the school year before I post this, but as you can see, I am not in the living room or in my game room. So this video is obviously in a different area, and you see a sink and you see a window, which is probably really bad lighting, but I don't care. So you can tell I'm in a kitchen. My kitchen. The kitchen in my house. However you want to say that, that's where I am. I almost broke a mirror. We're good. Okay. 7 years of bad luck just out the window. Alright, so if my phone will cooperate with me, I will show you what I'm going to attempt to make today. If you haven't been on my channel and looked at my past videos and seen the video where I literally almost died, I'll try to find the link to that and put it in the description box below, but anyway, I am allergic to eggs. Long story short, I get it from my mom because my mom's allergic to a food coloring called yellow 5, which like naturally occurs in apples and all this other kind of fun stuff, but let's not talk about that right now. Anyway, I'm allergic to eggs, so don't pull that crap where you say, oh, you're allergic to dairy, because I'm not. I'm allergic to eggs. The thing that comes out of the butt of a chicken. So that's why every time I bake, which I love to bake, every time I bake, I have to do stuff a little differently, because cakes, cupcakes, cookies, all that kind of confectionery kind of stuff usually has eggs in it. So I have to find an alternate route. I have to find out what ways I can have stuff and be able to eat it. So one of the things I've discovered when I started making my own like confections and goods and stuff, I don't really know how to say it, is every time I would look up something, I would look it up vegan. I'm not vegan. I personally don't choose that lifestyle because I love meat. But vegan stuff is guaranteed 100% most of the time to not have eggs, and I will get into that in another video. But vegan stuff, you never see 3 large eggs or anything like that in vegan recipes. So I wanted to make a cake from scratch, which I have never done before, so that's gonna go great. But I wanted to make a cake from scratch using a vegan recipe. So I'm gonna be using this recipe. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's vegan vanilla cake. I'm trying to figure out who it's by. lovingitvegan.com. They're not sponsored or anything like that, but that's what I'm going to try to be doing, is making their vegan vanilla cake recipe so that I can eat a from scratch cake. So we're in the kitchen, a very messy kitchen, I apologize, but we're gonna try that today. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so I got everything that I need. There's a lot of ingredients that goes into this, but I think I'll be okay. So first off, I've got my giant mixing bowl, my measuring cups over here, my apple cider vinegar, 2 cake pans, baking soda, a sifter. Our other sifters were dirty, so I'm gonna have to use the small one today, but that's okay. Canola oil instead of vegetable oil because we are out of vegetable oil, unfortunately, and that can be used as a substitute for vegetable oil, just so you know. Just so you know. Blah, blah. Also got some vanilla flavoring, salt, and my sugar and flour over here. In the picture, it looks like she uses regular sugar, not confectioner's sugar. So I will be using regular sugar, and also Crisco to grease the pans. I know that's unhealthy, but guess what? I don't care because it tastes good. Alright, so I guess I'm just gonna get started. It says to sift 1 3/4 cups of flour into a mixing bowl. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, quick tip for whenever you're sifting flour. You can go in circles like this if you're using a hand sifter. And whenever it gets to those little chunks at the bottom, just go back and forth. And you're going to have to tap it off the sides. See? And then like, you have no flour left in your sifter, just so you know. I recorded me putting in the rest of the dry ingredients, but I apparently didn't push the right record button. So, unfortunately, I don't have that portion of filming, but what I basically did is I got a cup of sugar, regular sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt, all in my dry ingredient bowl. So I'll be stirring those together and mixing in the next ingredients in the next clip, whenever I hopefully will be playing my Hamilton music again, because I love Hamilton. Anyway, I'm looking at the recipe on my computer now, but so next is milk, vanilla, and my canola oil, because like I said, I'm substituting for canola oil because we don't have either vegetable oil or olive oil at the moment. But in the ingredients it says see, it says vegetable oil can be substituted, which I substituted for canola oil. Yay. Alright, so I'm going to be adding soy milk, baking soda, and salt. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I have to work it out in my brain in order to do that. So that's that so far. Okay, so I've made my cake batter. I've also forgot to mention earlier to add the apple cider vinegar when you add your wet ingredients, but I did. And it actually tastes pretty good because now, since there's not eggs in it, you can touch the batter and eat it and stuff. But anyway, so now it's time to grease the pans while I'm waiting for the oven to preheat. The reason I didn't preheat it first was because I knew I was making a YouTube video, so it would take quite a while. But anyway, personally, I guess it's like a family thing, but we use Crisco. I know that it's like really bad and all that kind of stuff, and then there's like all these health nuts that are going to be freaking out if they ever watch this video. But what we do is it's just a little bit better, I guess. But the recipe says to get 2 7-inch pans, but unfortunately I only have 9-inch pans, so they'll just be a little thinner, which I'm not used to because I'm allergic to eggs. But anyway, you just get some Crisco on a paper towel. Don't worry, you won't taste the paper towel. Don't freak out. And you just rub it around on the pans, because if you're using pans like these, you have to grease them or the cake will never come out. Like, you can't use spray. That doesn't work because, trust me, I've messed up before. So we use Crisco in this family because we are Southern to the core. And so, just greasing my pans right now. But, like, I don't really know what to talk about now, but other than the fact that Crisco does work very well with things like this, even though it is worse for you, at least it's not in the cake. That's what I have to say to that. So now that there's Crisco on both pans and I have my cake batter, oh, by the way, the oven needs to be preheated to 350 degrees, so that's also a thing. But I'm also going to make the icing now that I think about it. But yeah, this is my vanilla cake mix. I mean, it tastes good. Okay, so I just put my cakes in the oven. It's been preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and yeah. So I used 9-inch pans, but the recipe calls for 7-inch pans, so please at home use 7-inch pans because I'm sure the cake will turn out much better proportioned than mine will. But for now, I'm gonna look at the icing recipe and make that off of the exact same recipe. And the link of that recipe will be in the description below because I'm gonna be editing on my computer, so I can do that easier. Alright. And anyway, I have a little bit of leftover batter, so I'm just gonna eat that real quick and then get back to you with the icing. Alright, so these are the way that the 2 cake rounds came out. I literally just took them out of the oven. Since they were a little thinner, I gave them 25 minutes instead of 30. And they are done, and they look and smell really good. This one I put less in it, so I should have baked it for a shorter time than this, but I didn't, so I know that for next time. But this is how they... So this is what we are making the icing out of. The recipe calls for 3 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, and I have plenty of that. Got a little problem with powdered sugar, but that's okay. So, and then also 3 tablespoons of butter. I forgot how much milk and vanilla. I will tell you in the next clip probably, but I'm gonna mix it in another bowl while my cake's cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and melt this because that always makes it easier and stuff. So I'll be right back. Okay, so the recipe called for 2 teaspoons, right? Yeah, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and 3 tablespoons of milk. So along with the 3 3/4 cup of sugar and the 3 tablespoons of butter, that should be the icing. But I think I'm gonna add more milk because this is not really coming together. So I'm gonna get another tablespoon of milk while I am here, but it shouldn't take that much. So there's that, and I will be mixing the icing while the cakes cool off. So I'll see you whenever I'm done with this. This icing is not mixing very well. It's still clumpy and everything, so I'm going to bring out the big guns and use a hand mixer. So I will be doing that, then I'll continue to mix it by hand like I normally do. So let's do it. If you are vegan or vegetarian, then you can look in the comment section below, not comment section, description box, and there will be the link to the original recipe that I made all of this from. Alright, so I made my icing, finished that off. I approve. I've never been a fan of vanilla, and I can say that I'm still more of a chocolate person, but so far this is probably the thing that turned out the best so far. Don't know if this will come out of the cake pan, but you know. So this looks pretty good. This is half of the vanilla cake mix. Here's the other half. I put slightly less in here, and so therefore it's a little more brown and cooked, but it's okay because the toothpick came out clean on both of them. So now we also have the icing. This is the icing that came with the recipe. I'm trying to remember who made the said recipe, but you know, I'll have the link in the description for the recipe for this. And once those cake pans finish cooling off, I might put a fan on above me just to speed up the process a little bit. But once I do that, I will attempt to make an actual cake out of it. But also, I will have to mention this, that the vanilla icing, it calls for 3 tablespoons of milk, but to me that was just a little bit too thick. So like, see, this consistency is really what I go for in icing. I'm a big icing person. I can say that I do like my Hershey's icing a lot better, but that's just personal preference. So I wanted to just try this recipe in full, and it's not bad, but I did add 2 extra tablespoons of milk, just so that you know. Okay, so I made the cake like I thought. It's a little shorter than than it is in the recipe, of course, because I used 9-inch pans instead of 7-inch. The icing I did was a little too thin, but overall I think it's gonna taste good. See, because it looks pretty good, it's just the icing's a little bit, you know, less than perfect. But guess what? If it looks bad, it tastes great. That's usually how this goes. So I'm about to cut me a piece and tell you how it tastes. And it didn't turn out like a blob, so that's also good. So, okay, so I successfully made a 2-tier cake, and it doesn't look half bad. I mean, look, it's a little elevated by my fork and a little domed on the top, but hey, guess what? Now let's see if it tastes good as well. So I made this 2-tier cake. It doesn't look the best, but I bet it won't taste the worst because when they were just batter, see, it looks better now, doesn't it? It looks nice. But I don't think it'll taste bad, but then again, I am not a big vanilla person. But you know, I decided to make my first 2-tier cake from scratch, vanilla, because vanilla, you know. So I'm gonna try it now because if I'm gonna bake, I might as well try it on camera, not let you wonder what it tastes like. Okay, I'm not a vanilla person, but this is actually pretty good because it tastes like an actual cake. Like, because the texture of it, I've only had one real cake because one of my friends, her grandmother is like a baker, so she substituted everything the way bakers would, and this tastes so much like it, but it also tastes so good. So I'm pretty sure next time I bake I'm gonna do chocolate. That or try and do a design. I think the next cake I make will be a design and I'll have chocolate frosting on it though, because this was good and everything, but I think that's the changes I'm gonna make. But also it tastes really good. It just tastes like vanilla cake. I mean, there's nothing special about it, but it's one of those things that I don't have very often because, like I said, I'm a chocolate addict. But anyway, so I'm just gonna eat this cake and edit this video. So I will see you in a future video, and for now that's it. Have a great day because school's starting and that's not always the greatest. But anyway, I hope y'all have a great day and have some cake. Okay, so bye. British henchman, everyone give it up for America's favorite fighting Frenchman. Lafayette, I'm taking this horse by the reins, making red coats, red with blood stains. And I'm never gonna stop until I make them drop, I burn them up and scatter the remains. Watch me engaging them, escaping them, enraging them. I go friends for more funds, I come back with more guns and ships, and so they're buying ships. We rendezvous with Rochambeau, consolidate their gifts. We can end this war in your town, cut them off at sea, but for this to succeed, there's someone else we need. I know Hamilton, so he knows what to do in the trench, and you know he's gonna put the French on me. So you're gonna have to use him eventually. What's he gonna do on the bench on me? Who has more resilience or matches my practical, tactical brilliance? You wanna fight for your land back? Yeah, get your right hand man back. You know you gotta get your right hand man back. I mean, you gotta put some thought into the letter, but the sooner the better, get your right hand man back.